just like Kate said, being an LMS admin is about it's about managing students on a digital platform. I mean, that's one of the things. You get to manage students. At times, you manage tutors on an LMS. You configure, you upload courses, you send messages. You know, we're going to find out so many things today about being an LMS administrator. So if you can see my screen. I'm trying to move to the next page. Okay. Yeah. So our learning outcomes for today are, we're going to be learning the different types of LMS. Okay. We're going to be learning what LMS administrators do, the skills required to be an LMS, to land an LMS admin job. We're going to be learning it today. Okay. These are the things we are doing today. And we're also going to learn the steps that you take to become an LMS administrator. These are the things we're learning today. All right. So first of all, let's have an introduction to learning management systems. One major thing that learning management systems are used for is to do the rollout of a learning project. You have a learning project, you want to, you know, for those of us that are aware and familiar with the end-to-end process of designing a course, we know that you have to do analysis of the learners. You need to know the business goal for actually for designing or planning a learning intervention or creating a learning solution. There's always a business goal attached to it. And then you come up with you understand your learners, what are their gaps, what do they need to know, why do they need to know it, and what do they need to know, what do they know already, and what do they need to know to be able to change their behaviors or increase in their performance so that they can help achieve that business goal. And from there, you do your design, you come up with your learning outcomes, you create your courses. And then after creating your courses, then there's a time to roll out these courses to people. And there are different ways this can be done. It could be synchronously or asynchronously. Synchronously means everyone is together in a class. Asynchronously means people can learn at their own time. And that's one of the reasons we use an LMS, a learning management system, so that you have the courses uploaded up there, and then people can basically have access to it. All right. So an LMS is used in digital learning rollout. And then the choice of your LMS is made during your rollout plan, because you need to consider things like the content type, you need to consider the means of communication, you need to consider the means of supporting your learners, consider how to drive engagement. These are the things that make us decide on what LMS to use or not to use. All right. Does anyone have a question at this point before I move on? Do you have any question? Let me know if you have any question. All right. So I would say, let's move on to the next thing. Now we know that LMSs are used for rolling out a learning intervention, a learning program, a learning solution. Use it to roll out. And then for your platform consideration, people, I've seen a lot of people talk about or ask me about what kind of LMS should I use? You know, there are different types of learning management systems, and every learning management system has its own features. They have different features, from content management to the ability to integrate, data analytics. There are different things which we are going to touch on. And these are all the considerations that you need to have in place to know which LMS to choose. So the first thing is you need to determine what are the things that I want my learning management system to be able to do. What are the things I want my learning management system to be able to do? Do I want my learning management system to be able to do one thing or the other? So those things that you want them to do will determine which LMS you go for, because different LMSs have different features. Some of them have certain features, some of them have a lot of features. So you decide on the one that you want based on what you need to achieve with your learners, what your organization needs to achieve. All right. So, and then these things that you need to consider are majorly the features, contents. What kind of content do you have? What kind of format are you using? I mentioned synchronous learning and asynchronous. Do you need your learning management system to be able to track learners' activities offline and online? Do you need it? What kind of mode of delivery are you looking at? Do you want them to be able to do assignments on the LMS and you get feedback? What about the gamification features? What about the analytics? Reporting. Then communication is another thing. Do you want to be able to come up with messages like you want to be able to communicate with your learners with messages that you have pre-configured and set them ahead and schedule them? Can your LMS do that? What are the accessibility features in terms of people that have some form of disabilities or not, maybe in hearing, in seeing? Do you have text to speech? Do you have, all these things are the considerations that you as an organization or a learning designer or learning lead in your organization must have put in place. And then as you now go to the market to look at the different LMSs, then you want to ensure that the feature that you want is being provided by the LMS that you eventually choose. What about visual designs? Do you want to consider, are you considering a platform that you can use you can customize it to have your organization's logo, to have your organization's colors and the name and different things, the theme. These are, you want to ensure that the LMS you're choosing can do this. Then what about, do you want your LMS to be cloud-based or self-hosted on your own website? These are things that you want to consider that will determine your choice. Then what about pricing model? There are different pricing models that are available. Some are some LMSs, the pricing model is such that you pay a license fee. Excuse me. For some of them, it's that you pay per user. Some are subscription based. Some are pay as you go, and then different options. So you're going to choose the one that works with your budget and the payments plan that suits your organization. But what about security, GDPR, compatibility, authentication, privacy control, and all of those things? Backup, disaster recovery plan. Are these things that are really important to your organization? They want to make sure that the LMS you're choosing has all of those things. What about external integrations? Do you want an LMS that can allow you to have single sign-on such that other platforms, other systems like HR, membership, CRM, PMS can connect to your LMS with one single sign-on? People in your organization don't have to start signing up to different systems. Everything can be integrated. So these are considerations for choosing an LMS. Does anyone have a question at this point? If you have a question, please let me know. Before we move on, let me know if you understand what I'm saying. And if you have any question at all, please let me know. All right. Any questions? Great.
Yeah.
Okay, Larry. Okay, question. I'm listening.
Yeah. My question then, will it be the duty of LMS administrator admin to design this template for the presentation in the LMS, or the templates will be there. We just upload the content and whatever I want to present as a course or something like that.
So when you say templates, what do you mean by templates?
Or did it present like this? I'm looking at as well. You know, you might want to present something that has a diagram, some picture, animation stuff. Will it be the LMS admin so that we design those?
Okay, okay. Thank you for that question. Okay, so thank you for that question. So what a learning management system is it's a system that helps you to deliver your content to your learners. And then there are different ways that this content can be used on your LMS. At times, it's such that you already have your content created, maybe in PDF format or e-learning format, interactive format. We've been learning about scenario-based learning. We created some weeks back. You already have that already, and then you upload. It's like a place where you upload your content, and then people can go there, click on it, and watch. So to answer your question as if the LMS administrator has to create the content, is that what you're trying to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends really on the organization. Many times the learning designer does the analysis, liaises and collaborates with subject matter experts. The learning designer is also the one who creates courses. It also depends on how much content are available. So that means you need to have skill in content creation, in learning design. And then after the contents are created, you're also the one who uploads it up onto the LMS. So it depends on the organization. But for some organizations, somebody else does the instructional design, e-learning design, another person creates the content. Your own work is just to upload. And there are some LMSs that don't just have space for you to upload what you have. They have authoring tools. Authoring tools are like Genially. For example, we created a course with Genially last, right? We are in that class. Some LMSs, some learning management systems have authoring tools where you go there and create the course up there. So to answer your question about whether there's a template, yes, usually there will be a template that you can make use of, or you can also have the opportunity to create from scratch on your own. Do you understand? I hope does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. So like I said, talking about platform considerations, you want to look at the capability or the skills of your staff when you are choosing your LMS. Do you have a staff that have very deep technical skills? And then you want to make sure that, and then you may be considering getting an LMS that requires some level of technicality by the LMS administrator to use. But if the person that is going to be managing the LMS has maybe basic skill in visual design or just uploading courses, so whatever LMS you're going to choose will be determined by what kind of staff you have, what capabilities they have, what skills do they have, and then you want to look at an LMS that they can easily work with. That different ones ranging from the very simple ones, user-friendly, to the very technical ones. So it's really up to you to choose the one that works for you. You can choose a very simple one. All right, thank you for that very good question. So let's move to the next slide, where we're going to be talking about the different types of learning management systems. So with this one, what we're about to talk about now will shed more light into the question that you asked, Larry. Give me a moment, please. Trying to share something here. Don't know why it's not sharing. Just give me a moment. Okay. My second screen is common. I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, So let's talk about the different types of LMS. Is that showing at your end? Okay, great. Showing now. So talking about different types of LMS, we have the learning management system, which is what most of us are familiar with. It's very simple. It's content driven. It's majorly for, you to upload content on your, one moment. So it's more of a system that allows you to upload content. You're able to upload your content and you're able to upload your content. And this content that you're uploading, you are able to have people, your students are able to have access to it. And this is the type that is used mostly in the corporate organization. This kind of the LMS has strong analytics. Analytics means that you can gather data about whether people are completing their courses or not. You can track their progress. I'm sure many of us are familiar with it. You are watching a video and you can see the progress, and it can also tell you, okay, you've gone 30% in this video. And it can also tell whether, in terms of if there's an assessment, an assignment, it can tell you, or a quiz, it can tell you whether you have passed the percentage or not. So it has strong analytics, and it's mostly used by corporate organizations because most of them just want to know whether people are, compliant in their learning of the required courses and whether they are passing. And then next we have the VLE, which is called Virtual Learning Environment. This virtual learning environment is common in higher education setting. For example, we have Moodle, Canvas, and Blackboard, and the other ones. This one has strong assessment and feedback grading system. So like I was explaining before, to choose your LMS, you want to look at what you need to achieve. What setting are you? Of course, in most higher institutions, they just want to assess whether the students are passing, their test exams, and then they want to be able to grade them, right? Now, the next one type of learning management system we have is the LXP, which is also known as the Learning Experience Platform. LXP, Learning Experience Platform. This one has very modern user interface and user experience. And it has strong data analytics, reporting, content creation, curation, learning path, social learning forum, and all. There are different ones like that. We have the CMS. The CMS is a content management system. This is just a place where you just upload content. You can store files and documents, but there is no tracking. You cannot track whether people are doing what they're supposed to do, or you can't get feedback. For example, we have the WordPress, we have Wix. These are websites where you can just decide that you upload content on on the pages, but you cannot track whether people are actually following or whether they are doing what they are supposed to do. But at least it does the work of just putting up content. So it really depends on what you want to achieve. If all you want to achieve is to have people just have access to content, that you want to go for a CMS. And then we have the LRS. Waiting for that page to come up. Great. So the LRS is known as the Learning Record Store. This Learning Record Store is in a way similar to the CMS, the Content Management System. But what it has, the extra feature it has, is that you can actually track data. You can even have multiple LMSs connected to it, and it can track data for you. You can have, multiple systems gathered in one place. You can track data. You can track whether people are completing their works, their assessments, and all that. Depending on what you want to achieve, you make your choice about which LMS you're using. All right. And then we have the adaptive platforms. These ones are, platforms with built-in authoring tools. So I mentioned to Larry, the question that Larry asked earlier, asking if you have to be the one to create a template. There are some, so that I've been talking about different LMSs. All of these LMSs, you just upload your content that you have created somewhere else. But now we have platforms that, these are LMS, they're learning management systems, but at the same time, you can create your content there. And then people can have access to it. You can generate feedback. Feedback is generated by the platform as well. And we have others that many of us are aware of. Google Classroom. We have Microsoft Teams. For those of us that have children in schools, we are aware that most schools use Google Classroom, right? Or Teams, because your students can collaborate. Teachers can upload their courses, their subjects. They can, do different things. So these are other ones that are very simple to use. So if you have any question at this point, let me know before I move to the next thing. So this is still talking about introduction to LMSs, what they do, the different types, and then so that you can know how to make your choice of LMS. Does anyone have a question at this point before I move on? Okay, no questions, and then we'll move to the next slide. So now let's talk about the roles, which is the main reason we are here. What are the things that LMS administrators do? What do they really do? What do LMS administrators do? So LMS administrators have different roles. Like Kate mentioned some of them, which was quite impressive earlier today. So we have content management, which is what I'm sure many of us, if you ask, what does an LMS administrator do? You say they manage content. So that involves content uploading, curation, creating learning paths. Then we have customization, which means they're responsible for branding and system text customization, all right? We have the system configuration where you have user roles. In organizations where you have different people in different roles and needing to learn different things, you can actually configure your LMS in such a way that based on their role, the type of the courses that are suggested to them are based on their role. They don't have to start going around to determine, okay, which course is meant for me. Let me just, you can actually customize your LMS to achieve that. So we have, you can create learning paths, which means if, for example, they are supposed to take a particular course and there are different stages 1, 2, and 3, you can configure it in such a way that until they finish stage 1, they won't be able to do stage 2. So these are things that you can do, and then they're in charge of managing migrations. LMS administrator will be in charge of managing migrations and also ensuring the operational performance of the platform. So your LMS administrator and LMS administrator also does collaboration and integration. So when I say collaboration, as an LMS administrator, you need to collaborate with learning designers. You need to understand the courses. You need to understand why a particular course is being, suggested to learners. What do they need to achieve with it, which will help you to determine their learning path. Okay, you need to be able to collaborate with subject matter experts. You need to be able to collaborate with your learning designer who has created a story, but even the developers, you need to understand how they created their courses so that when you're uploading on the LMS, you're not just uploading, you are creating an experience for your learners. And creating an experience for your learners is based on the fact that you know the business goal, you know the learning gaps, you know what they want this particular person to be able to achieve when they go through the courses. And that's how you know that, okay, they need to take this course first before they take this one, and then that. They're supposed to be able to configure it such that the suggestion of those courses comes to them automatically. And this is because you have been collaborating with other people in the learning department. You don't just work alone. And then you collaborate with stakeholders, learning designers in scoping, evaluation stages. Now, evaluation during the design stage, the learning designers would have created the evaluation strategy. Now you are supposed to translate that into, okay, how you now create quizzes or create courses, how you ensure that we're able to measure whether people are taking the courses, because we're going to evaluate them based on their completion rates. We're going to evaluate them based on what marks they get, based on their performance in the courses. So, and that is up to you. But if you don't have an understanding of the evaluation strategy to start with, how do you know that? There's some implementation or delivery of courses that happen in blended formats, such that there's a time that people go up to the LMS, and there are times that they use the virtual classroom. Now, to ensure that the worksheet, for example, that they're going to use for activities, excuse me, in the virtual classroom is available, you are going to have to upload them on the LMS and let it follow a particular, sequence. After they take a course, after they do maybe lesson 1, lesson 2, okay, they need to take this quiz first. They need to work on this worksheet, and they need to upload their answer back to the LMS. You want to create a space where they can upload to. So you're going to be collaborating with learning designers. As an LMS administrator, you also moderate the community. In social, there's something called social learning, in which it's not just about people going to the LMS. We all know that many of us are almost tired of learning alone. We still want to interact with people, and that has been made possible by platforms that have forums where you can chat, you can give feedback. So somebody is going to be moderating that. When it's time for us to, say, for example, on the forum, maybe have a discussion around a particular topic, the LMS administrator moderates. It's more like the community manager, because the community, for an organization, for example, there are LMS administrators that have forums, such that you don't need to now create another forum, maybe on Teams or on Discord, on WhatsApp, for people to discuss. On the same LMS, under each topic, people can give their feedback, they can talk, they can chat. That's what you call social learning. People can collaborate together, and there has to be someone managing that, which is the work of an LMS administrator. Well, it also depends on the organization. Some organizations will have someone else entirely doing the work of a moderator or community manager, because there are a lot of learners. Let's say you have an organization that is global and they have over 150,000 learners. The LMS administrator handling the technical part of the work is already probably might be overwhelmed if he or she has to also handle moderation. But even if you're not handling moderation, there's a part you're going to play as an LMS administrator. And also, finally, which I've mentioned in the process of talking, the LMS administrator handles data tracking and reporting. All right. So these are the roles of an LMS administrator. And like I said, in some organizations, you have to do everything. In some organizations, you do part of it depending on the size of the organization, but it's good for you to have an understanding of how these things work, so that you can collaborate efficiently with people who may be taking care of other roles. All right. So let's move to the skill sets required. Now we know what an LMS administrator does. So what skill sets do you need to be able to fit into this role? What skill set do you require? And that's what we're talking about. So, and that's why I put it in tabular form, to be able to, based on the role, based on the things, the activities that you should be able to do. So what do you need? For content management, you need to have skills in, you need to have curation skills, knowledge, content, have a knowledge of different content types. For example, you need to know about PDF, doc, or PDF, like Word documents, audio, video, e-learning resources, like what you create on authoring tools like Articulate, Genially, Elucidate, iSpring, and all of those authoring tools. And then you need to have an understanding of XAPI, SCORM formats for content, because these are the XAPI and SCORM features and content helps you to be able to track those contents. And that's what makes an LMS that can track learners' activities, learners' behaviors, learners' completion rates, and their how well they are doing in their assessments. The difference between them and the ones that can't is the fact that they have XAPI and SCORM features in them. You need to have for some LMSs, you need to have an understanding of how to use HTML, CSS to create content. But in most of them that we have these days, you really don't need to. And the use of authoring tools. If the learning platform that you are using has authoring tools, as part of it, you need to be able to use the authoring tool. All right. So let's move to, for customization, you should have an understanding of visual design, graphic design. Like I said, one of the things you'll probably be doing is to customize the LMS to look like the website as well. Let's say the company has a website already, you need to be able to customize the LMS to be able to show the logo, to have the color theme, so that when people are moving from the website to the LMS, they don't really know they are moving from different platform to the other. It just feels like it's the same. So you need to have an understanding of graphic design, visual design, basic user experience, and all that. As an LMS, for the configuration, you need technical skills, HTML, platform awareness, system administration, accessibility knowledge. I talked about accessibility, and accessibility is the consideration that you have for people that have disabilities. And these disabilities may not be very, very serious. It could be something as simple as, okay, someone, when they see any color that is too bright, it affects them. It affects their ability to assimilate. So you want to make sure that you have an understanding of these things. You want to make sure that you have features like text to speech, such that for somebody that cannot see, they can hear. If you're working in an organization that has that has a consideration for diversity and inclusion, and they have different types of people in the organization, we want to make sure that regardless of what disability people have, they can use the LMS. You need to have an understanding of accessibility knowledge, collaboration. You need to be able to have project management skills, people skills, because you're not going to be working alone. You need to be able to moderate, and to be a moderator, you need to be able to to be a moderator and community manager. At times, you are the one configuring the messages. You are coming up with messages that will go to the learners, reminding them, notification messages, reminders. You need to have some written communication skills, technical skills, critical thinking, social media awareness skill, because you are trying to nudge people to do their courses. You are reminding them, you're encouraging them to do different things. And that should be able to show in the way you come up with your messages. Then data tracking and reporting. You need to have an understanding of data collection tools like surveys. At times you need to conduct interviews. You need to have ability to do data analysis, come up with reporting. You need to have reporting skills such that after you have created your data, now you want to report it. You need to be able to represent it in graphical form, or or other forms. Now, in data and reporting, documents like PDF are actually very hard to track. But for videos, which I know many of us have had that kind of experience, where our videos are, when we are watching a particular video, a course that is a video course, you can see that, yes, you can see your progress, whether you have done up to 30%, 20%. The fact that you can see that shows that the LMS administrator too can track your progress. And when you complete, they can. When you do a quiz, you see the results. So videos are easy to also track. And then e-learning courses that are created in SCORM or XAPI, that have XAPI or SCORM features in them, they can be tracked. And these are the ones that, beyond being able to determine the completion rates and whether people have are passing or getting a particular percentage. You can also determine their activities. What are they clicking on? When do they click on? What time of the day do they actually engage with learning? And that's XAPI. These are things that you should be able to have an understanding of to be able to land an LMS role. Does anyone have a question at this point? Questions. There's so much information that is being passed right now. So let me know if you have any question. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon. Okay.
The last slide you just showed.
Okay, let me go back to the slide. All right. Okay. Can you see?
Not yet.
Okay. It has come up here.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
For the data tracking and reporting.
Yeah.
The data tracking and reporting.
Yeah.
Does that mean that apart from having these skills, to learn some other tools which are important in for the data collections?
Yeah.
Because there are some tools that are important in data collection.
Yeah.
We need to train ourselves on that before doing this role to be an LMS administrator.
Okay, thank you for that question. That's a very good question. So one thing about being a tech, to be in tech career is that you have to be a lifelong learner. You need to keep learning. I mean, when you many times when we apply for roles, what the interviewers are looking at, first of all, they want to be sure that you have a percentage of the skill that is required, at times 70, 80, 90. But one thing that is very important to them is that you have this, you have the attitude of wanting to learn. You don't believe you know it, or you are open to learn. So I would say if you have an understanding of some data collection tools and data analysis, you can always learn on the go. But you need to be able to show this to your to the interviewer. So I can't really say, okay, you must know everything. You know, I've had jobs that I didn't know everything, but I just tell them, okay, I know how to do this. Many times what they want to know is you have an understanding of the process. You can collaborate with people. You have a basic understanding, because there are different tools for different things. For example, in content management, there are 1,000,001 content management tools, 1,000,001 LMSs, 1,000,001 data tracking and reporting tools. And you are, interviewers are fair enough to not expect that you know everything, but they need to know that you can learn. And they know that if you have a basic understanding of how to use one tool, most of these tools have similar features, right? And they know that you have the attitude to always want to learn, and you're a fast learner, and then you might be able to get that job. But I'll say I've never gotten a job before that I knew everything about the role. And I was sincere about it. I made them understand, I know this one, I don't know, I have an idea, I did the research. So one major thing that you need to be mindful of when you're applying for roles is that you need to read the job description. When you read the job description, many times they'll tell you the skill, the tool that they use. And what you will do is to have gone ahead of them to do your due diligence, to research about that tool. Most of these tools, they have free trials that you can just play around them. And then you can tell whether it's something that is complex for you to learn or not. You may want to watch YouTube videos to have basic understanding of how it is used. And then you can now communicate that to them during the interview, that I understand that this is how this tool is used. I'm not 100% in using it, but I believe I'm going to learn as we go. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
all right, great. So thank you for that question. So we'll proceed now. Our time is almost up. I promised myself we won't spend more than 1 hour. So what's the next step now? Now that we know what LMSs do, can you please mute yourself? What is that? Please mute yourself. Thank you. So now that we know what LMSs do, we know what LMS administrators do, and we know what skill sets that are required to become an LMS administrator. So what's the next step for us? I will say it's very, very simple. The next step is for you to look at these tables that I've just shared and ask yourself, which of these skills do I already have? Identify, and then identify which of the skills you don't have. So it's identify your skill gap. All right. Identify your skill gap. And how do you identify your skill gap? You look at, okay, what am I able to do? What do I need to learn to do? And then you build the skill that you're lacking in. All right. I'll share those 2 pages with us in the group in this place so that we can have access to it. I'll share this template in the webinar, I think e-learning workshop resources. So if you come to on the Discord group, you see e-learning workshops, the resources. I'm going to upload these slides there so you can look at, what skills do I need? Number one, do I even want to be an LMS administrator? Looking at these skills, do you think, do I have up to like 20% of the skill? Do I have like 80%? Oh, then I know I can learn the rest. Okay. Or is it the path that I want to go into? Do I have the technical skill to do this? And then after you've made up your mind whether you want to be an LMS administrator or not, then you look at identifying the skills that are needed, the skills that you have, what you don't have, and that's the gap. And then you want to build your skill in that. And I have suggestions of ways that we can get that done. I have suggestions for us. So one of the things you can do is to research free resources online to gain your skill. We have LinkedIn Learning, we have Coursera, a lot of free platforms. An interesting thing about these free platforms is that at times they can be knowledge overwhelm. Some of them will talk about the course widely. Some of them are punchy, At times it's a bit frustrating having to search for knowledge here and there. Another thing you can do is to enroll for a course in LMS administration. That way, you probably have a situation where you're able to do practicals, and then you're able to ask questions, you're able to, get feedback on what you're doing. So it's really up to you, either based on what you can afford or how much time you have, or how much you really want to, how soon you want to become an LMS administrator. And then, so those are my suggestions to us. Does anyone have a question at this point? Questions, questions, questions. Okay, we are coming to the end of the class. However, one thing that we have done at the early, hub is to come up with a course which can help you become an LMS administrator very fast. In case you don't have that time, you don't want to wait till you go about and learn different things, you want to be guided. We have a course that we have come up with, which will help you to be able to learn content management, platform configuration, integrations, moderations, and communication forums on the LMS, and data tracking. These are the major skills that an LMS administrator needs to have. And one of the things that we are also making available is that you're going to do practical course in which you work on at least one LMS. And the LMS we're choosing is the one that has all these features, such that if you have to work on any other LMS, it's very easy for you. You learn how to work at the back end, the front end, how to, ensure that the content that you have as XAPIs come and all that. So we have this course, which is a 6 weeks course. A 6 weeks course that will help you to become an LMS administrator. You are able to ask questions, you are able to do your project, and so that brings us to the end of this class today. If you have any question for me, let me know. So if you are not connected to us on LinkedIn already, just scan this QR code on the screen. And then you can also have a look at our website to see all the activities that we have there, the mentoring activity. Okay, yeah, I need to mention this to us. For those of us that really desire to be mentored by someone who is already in the e-learning path that has gone ahead of you to, that you can talk to, we have this mentoring program that is free for all. The link is on our website. If you go on the website, you see the mentoring page. You can click, you can register your interest as a mentee. What do you need help in as a mentee? And then we'll match you, we'll match you with a mentor. And if you believe that you already have skills in mentoring as well, and you'll be able to mentor someone, this software that we're using will also help you to be able to record your skills, who you can help, how available are you? Is it once in a month, twice in a month? What kind of person do you want? What kind of skill do you have that you can use to help someone? And this is a way of building the community and helping us grow, connect with one another, and learn from one another. We already know that we have this, like this free webinar that we've had today. We have free workshops on e-learning development. We have free webinars once a month, the Lead webinar, where we invite global leaders to come and speak to us about trends in e-learning, to teach us skills and all. We all know about that. And the next one of the Lead webinar is on the 7th of March, which is the first Thursday of the month. And the person that is coming to talk to us is coming to talk about data, how you can tell your data story in e-learning. You've gathered your data from your learning intervention, your learning solution. Now, how do you now present this data to the stakeholders in the organization to let them see the effectiveness of your learning, how well your learning is helping achieve the return on investments? Yeah, we have someone that is coming to talk to us about that. So these are the free, the free programs that we have: the mentoring, the webinar, and the e-learning workshops. The last workshop, we learned how to design and scenario-based learning. That we had 3 different classes, and then we used Genially. We learned how to get assets from Canva, how to do animations on PowerPoint. We've done so much, and then we're going to be starting another topic on our workshop next month as well. So ensure to go to our website, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, and then so that you can be able to know when we have new resources and we have new programs coming up. So does anyone have any question for me before we wrap up today? It's a little over 2 p.m. Questions, questions, questions. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's class. Ensure that you follow us. Let me know in the group. So if you have not joined the Discord group, which is where we are having our class today. We are not having our class on Zoom anymore. Our classes now, our programs now happen on Discord. So encourage people in the WhatsApp group. We're closing the WhatsApp group very soon because we want to ensure that people's numbers are secure from scammers. We've been having activities in the WhatsApp where people are just posting. Someone posted a job opportunity, and I looked at that job opportunity. The website said insecure, saying there are like 55 opportunities, and it just didn't look right to me. And I'm just mindful of security of people's numbers. So we're going to be moving to WhatsApp. All right. So Instagram, guys, have a great evening and ensure check in the bio, you will see in the bio, you're going to see links to join the Discord group, our Facebook, our LinkedIn group, LinkedIn page as well. You see the link to join us. So take care and bye for now. I'm going to put the link to the course as well in the bio for anyone interested in becoming an LMS administrator. Bye for now, Instagram people.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you so much.
Okay, so people, so on Discord, you're welcome. Who is talking, please?
This is Kate. Yeah.
Okay, Kate, yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
so yeah, thank you. Thank you for your time, for
You're welcome.
to teach us all this. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So if you're let me put the link for the course for anyone that wants to check it out before we leave. I was saying bye-bye to the Instagram people because I was also viewing it on Instagram. So I'm going to put in the chat now the link to the course in case you can check it out. One moment, please. Let me stop sharing. Okay. I'll put it in the chat now. Give me a moment, just a minute.